Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Crystal and this is my social thread. So today I have another interview for you with Karen from So Little Time. She's a vlogger and an Instagram personality, and she is actually one of the vloggers that I have been watching since the beginning of my sewing journey. She inspires me in my make, she keeps me company whilst I'm sewing, and she's just a lovely person to watch and to learn from. This is the first time that I have spoken to Karen well, virtually, but we have been chatting on Instagram for a while, which is really lovely. So in terms of the people that I have been interviewing, the vloggers especially, I have basically contacted the ones, as I say, the ones that I have been following for a while, the ones that do inspire me, the ones that I do regularly watch. Karen was one of them. To be fair, most of the people that I contacted said yes, which is lovely, so I am slowly making my way interviewing them, and I will be releasing one interview a week going forward. There were a couple of vloggers that said no, which is fair enough. Everybody has their own obligations and commitments, and some people just didn't fancy doing it at all, which is fine. So for the ones that have said yes, as I say, I have enjoyed interviewing them, and I hope that you will enjoy Karen's interview today. Thank you for watching. Hello everyone. So today we're joined by Karen of So Little Time on Instagram, where she has more than 3,000 followers. She also has a very successful YouTube channel under the same name, where she has more than 5,000 subscribers. Karen is a vlogger, blogger, and a busy mum to 3 little boys, and she's based in Leicestershire. Thank you so much for joining us, Karen.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Lovely to finally speak to you in person.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it, how we connect?
In person.
Yeah.
So as this is a sewing vlog, my first question to you is, how and when did you start sewing, Karen?
Okay, so back in 2009 is when I actually started sewing, and that was when I turned 30. So I had a sewing machine for my 30th birthday, which I did ask for, but it was all off the back of the dress that my mother-in-law had made for my niece, who at the time was a toddler. And I turned up at her house and she was wearing this gorgeous little sundress. And I said, oh, I love that little dress. And then my mother-in-law turned around and said, well, I made it, and then I was like, no way. And I was like, well, I really want to do something like that. And I don't know what, but just that moment sparked like my crafty sort of genes. And I really just wanted to be able to do that. So that was it. It just set me off on a tangent, and I just haven't stopped since. So ever since receiving that machine on my 30th birthday, it's just been in full use the whole time.
Wow, that's amazing. So what was your sort of first project? What did you start on?
Well, I actually bought a little pattern for a romper suit. And at that time, I hadn't got children or anything. So I just thought, well, I'll make a little romper suit. And if I ever have children, maybe I'll dress them in it. And so my mother-in-law went all through that process with me of cutting out all the pattern pieces. And we sewed it up together on her machine, because actually at that point, I still hadn't got my own machine. And then we sewed it all up together. And I did keep it. And I did put my first son in it, but it just looked a little bit Oompa Loompa, so I didn't keep it in the end, but that was the first thing I made.
How lovely. And with regards, I mean, sewing and vlogging is a totally different ball game, isn't it? How did you get into vlogging? Was that how many years ago did you start vlogging?
I think that was back in 2018, so it was a good sort of near enough 10 years after I'd started sewing, really. And it was mainly because when we sold our old house after having the twins, because we didn't have enough room for us all there, we sold it, but then we had to move into my parents' house for 6 months whilst we found a place for us to live in. So during that sort of transition period, I was starting to watch sewing vlogs on YouTube of other vloggers. And at that time, there weren't as many as there are of us now. And I just thought, I really want to have a go at doing that myself. So once we've moved into where we are living now, and the twins were still quite young at that point, so they were napping quite a lot. So I had the time to be able to do it, and that's how I kind of started, really. So yeah.
And you've not looked back.
No, I mean, I haven't been as consistent as I'd like to, but obviously having a young family, it's really hard to keep up the consistency. But I just really enjoy it, and I really have got a lovely group of followers who sort of comment on my videos on a regular basis. So I feel like I've gotten to know a lot of the people that do watch me and build a relationship with them. So I really do enjoy that side of it, and just sharing all my content of sewing and all my other crafty bits and bobs that I do as well. I just really enjoy sharing that with everybody.
I mean, it's really nice when you say your group of followers, you have more than 5,000 subscribers. So that's
yeah. But I have my regulars who, comment on a regular basis. So not everybody always comments, and I just love to sort of, communicate with them. And I've met, lots and lots of friends through doing blogging and blogging and things like that. So friends that I would never have met otherwise. Yeah.
Oh, how lovely. So with regards to your vlogging, do you use any special equipment at all, or are you sort of sorry?
No, it's really, really bog standard. I mean, I have got a Ko-Fi account where I was asking people to sort of help me out to get myself a decent camera, but I felt a little bit uncomfortable about doing that actually. So I haven't really advertised that fact anymore. And I actually used the money that I did gain from that to have some lighting equipment. Yes. So that sort of helps if I film on an evening, I've got like a ring light and that kind of thing. But to actually film my vlogs on a sort of regular basis, I just use an old iPhone of my dad's, because it's a really good quality picture, it's really good volume on it, and I purely use it just for vlogging on. And then there's an app on there called InShot, and I actually edit initially on that, so I can add overlay photos, and then I transfer that video after I've saved it at a lower resolution and transfer it to my laptop, and I use the editing software that's on my laptop, which is called Windows Movie Maker. It just comes as standard, and it's good enough for me, but it didn't have the function to add overlay photos, so that's why I was using the InShot app, and that just serves me just right now. It's a bit of a pain to do all three processes, but it does take time, but I'm happy with how it is, because I don't really want to pay for an editing software. I just don't really want. I'd rather just use the free one that's available.
But also, as I say, I mean, that sounds like a lot of work already just listening to it, but I don't know if you don't vlog yourself, there's actually quite a lot that goes into it, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I first started vlogging, I was using my bog standard Android phone, and it wasn't good enough for the volume. I had to buy a microphone to wear, which in the end packed up, and it was just giving me all sorts of problems. And also, when I first moved into this house, we didn't have Wi-Fi, so I was literally filming at home, then going over to my parents' house to upload the video and edit it on there. And because I was so new to it all, it took me hours of work, So now I am a little bit quicker with it, but it is still a day process sometimes from video to upload.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, but no, your content is great, and you
thank you,
including myself. I put you on whilst I'm watching it. Whilst I'm sewing, I have, I choose a couple of vlogs to watch whilst I'm sewing.
Yeah, same as me. I do that. It's a great way to catch up with everybody.
Indeed, definitely. I can ask, Karen, what's your career or work background before you started all this?
Yeah. Well, obviously, right now I'm not working. I'm just a stay-at-home mum, so I do this sort of a little bit for me, but prior to that, I've worked ever since I left school when I was 16, and it's always been in a secretarial admin sort of background, really. And I've just always worked in that sort of sector, which I've absolutely loved. Whether I'll go back into it again, I'm not really sure. Don't know what the future will hold, really. We'll just wait and see, but I'm not quite ready to go back whilst they're still so young.
Of course. Can I just ask, if you don't mind, how old your boys are? So
yeah, of course. Yeah, I've got an older son, Harry. He is now 8.5.
Wow.
And my twins, James and Thomas, they are 6, just turned 6 in February. Yeah.
Oh, how lovely. And when do you get time to sew? Are you an evening, or when they're at school, or do you sew in the evening?
Mainly evenings. I do sneak a bit in here and there in the day when I can, but I tend to use the days for like cleaning and getting the dinner and doing puddings and things for them, because they are hungry boys and stuff. So it's mainly evenings, and on a weekend I don't really tend to do any in the day, because we use that as family time. So yeah, I mean, I really love it during the summer months when I've got the lighter evenings, because I do find it hard working in the dark sort of evenings. But yeah, so evenings mainly.
Evenings, yeah. And can I ask, Karen, what sewing machines do you have?
Well, I've actually just recently won a sewing machine.
Oh, yeah, you were saying.
Off the giveaway that was happening on Instagram. So I feel really fortunate to have won that. And it was really good timing, actually, because the sewing machine that I was using prior to that win was the one that I had for my 30th. So it's now 13 years old. And I'd never had it serviced, which I know sounds really bad, but it never let me down, and I didn't feel like it needed a service. I don't know. But it's just started playing up, and that was a Janome DC 3050, I think, or something like that. And then the one I've actually won is also a Janome, which was brilliant, because I can use all the accessories that I got for my old one on this one. And that's a DK, I wrote it down, DK S30 special edition. And so it's just a slight upgrade to the one I had. It's just got a few more functions on there which are really handy, like the start stop button, the thread cutter. I think there's it's got an actual function for twin needling that you actually press a button specifically for it, just little bits like that that's and it's so much quieter as well.
It's amazing how the machine that you've won is an upgrade of the machine that you had.
Yeah,
it was
which
meant
is
to be.
brilliant. Yeah, and it's funny because I was actually looking at those type of models for an upgrade in the future. You know, I wasn't quite ready to do it, but it just happened at the right time. Yeah, because mine just started playing up a little bit.
How lucky you.
Yeah, I do have an overlocker as well.
Yeah, what is that?
It's the Brother 3034 DWT, and that's a really good machine. I bought that from Crafty So and So in Leicester because I had a voucher when I attended the dressmakers ball, so I had like 30% off, I think, something like that. So it was yeah, and I think that was my 40th birthday present, so that worked out quite well. Yeah.
So for your 50th, what do you think you'll get?
I know, maybe a cover stitch.
Yeah. Oh, how lovely. So Karen, what do you think? Do you have a favorite make to date, or is this a difficult question to answer?
It was quite difficult. I had to have a little think about this, but I picked out sort of 3 that I really liked. So I've written them down here. First one was definitely my So Different long line jacket, which I modelled on the catwalk in London recently at the Stitch Festival. So I have to include that one because that's just a real favourite of mine. And I know a lot of people who saw my picture on Instagram, you know, really commented how beautiful it was. And I think it's basically down to the fabric choice as well, I think. Yeah. But I really do like the Tilly and the Buttons indigo dress. I made one a couple of years ago in a gorgeous floral crepe fabric, and I absolutely love that. And then my favorite new look 6446 jumpsuit, which is in like a black and white paisley fabric, and that's actually one of the videos that I recorded of a makes video I did a while ago, a few years ago. That was featured in it, and that's my most watched video, and I'm sure it's because of that pattern, because at the time it was really popular.
Well, I will try and get those photos off Instagram, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I'll pop it up on the video as well.
Yeah.
Edit that all in. And what's what's your least favorite make, or do you have quite a few fails in your past journey?
It's weird actually, because I don't have that many dressmaking fails personally for myself. Everything I've made, I've worn, or it's either worn out, or if I didn't quite like it, I've given it away to charity, but I've never had a real fail as such. I think the only thing that I really could think of that I don't wear that much, I'm not really keen on it, is the Sew Over It Audrey top. And it's not the pattern.
One with the bow.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think I did the plain neck version where it was just a round sort of neck, and it's not the pattern because I absolutely love the pattern, but the fabric I chose for it just put me off. And it was like floral fabric, but it was in kind of stripes, and so it reminded me of the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory wallpaper, you know, the one that you can lick.
Yeah. Oh dear.
So I thought about that, and I was like, well, I can't unsee that now, so I just don't wear it. But I do like the pattern. I will revisit it with a different fabric. So that's the only thing that I can say is a real fail, just a silly choice of fabric.
Yeah. I was going to say, when you said you can't unsee it now, I just bought some fabric from Rainbow Fabrics Kilburn, and it was like a white background with like little blue squiggles, and I described it as like bacteria on a petri dish, and now I can't unsee it. Okay. And next question, Karen, are you a tracer or a cutter when it comes to your patterns?
Well, a bit of both, really. I mean, if I have a paper pattern, I always trace, because I like to keep the actual pattern intact. But if I purchase a PDF pattern, then I just obviously print it, and then I cut straight into my size, and then I don't usually keep it. I throw it away because I just don't like to store all that paper because it's just so big, you know.
Yeah. But then you have the pattern stick and everything again.
Yeah, I mean, there's not actually too many patterns that I duplicate. I do try and like make new things all the time, but if I do have a particular favorite, I probably would trace the PDF so I can store the paper pattern, you know, a little bit, or the actual tracing paper a little bit better than the physical paper, if that makes sense.
When you find a pattern that you like, do you not just make it again and again and again, or do you?
I have done that with some. I've like my cocoa dress and top, I do make that ever such a lot. But I don't think I've got too many of the same things, other than like the Tilly and the Buttons, Agnes and the Cocoa, which are just sort of staple garments, I think, in your wardrobe. But other dresses and things that I've made, I always say, oh yeah, I'd like to make that again, but I never really do, because there's always something else that I want to make.
That you get distracted with. Oh, let's try that pattern out. Yeah. So with regards to your fabrics, what sort of prints do you go for? What are you attracted to?
Mainly florals, I would say. A majority of the things I make are either floral or plain. You know, and I don't really have many other style of prints, I don't think, really. Yeah, mainly florals.
That's true. Everyone I've interviewed actually has, they've all said florals or
Oh,
animal.
have they?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you see, I don't like animal print.
Yeah, like.
Oh, no, but I think it's because it doesn't suit me. Mainly, I don't think it suits me. I do have one animal print in my stash, and that's on a very fine needle cord, which I was planning to make the Camden pinafore by Nina Lee in. I may change my mind, but that was what I specifically bought it for, and that was purely because I saw somebody else had made it in a similar fabric and I really liked it. But whether that will end up being in that sort of pattern, I don't know, but it's slightly different because it's not your typical kind of animal print. It's got a blue tinge to the actual like leopardy kind of spots to it, so it's a little bit of a different color. Yeah, it's lovely. Yeah, and I got that from Beyond the Pink Door quite a while ago now. Yeah,
I like leopard print, but I would never wear like zebra. Well, I mean, what other animals do they do? Zebras, right?
Yeah,
they do giraffe.
No, or cow print or anything like that. My goodness, can you imagine?
I've seen cow print jersey, but that would be for like a baby outfit.
Yeah, maybe something a little bit cuter.
What's your least favorite print then? Is it animal print or is it other?
Probably animal print, yeah, and also abstract. I don't really go for abstract designs really either. Yeah. I don't think it's a dislike. It's just I don't think it suits me really. Yeah, I tend to go for things that I think will complement my sort of dress sense and style, I suppose. Yeah,
and that's the beauty of making your own clothes, isn't it? You can choose everything that goes into the garment that you want to wear, which is
absolutely. Yeah.
What's your favorite fabric base?
I think I do like sewing with sort of cotton lawn, viscose crepe, cotton poplin, that kind of thing really. I'm not overly a fan of viscose in its entirety. I prefer a viscose crepe where it's got a little bit more weight and density about it, so I can handle the fabric a little bit easier. So and I do like working with sweatshirt and in jersey, but yeah, cotton based ones are my favorite really.
Oh, that's nice. And what's the last fabric store you bought from, and what did you buy, if you don't mind me asking?
Okay, yeah, I bought some viscose crepe actually from Crafty So and So. I had a voucher from them and I've just bought that, and it arrived the other day. I haven't got it here to show you, but it's basically a black fabric with some lovely florals on it, so and birds. yeah so that'll be in my next, probably in a future plans video, so I'll share.
You have a plan for it already, that fabric?
No, I haven't actually. No, I think I've got about 2 meters of it, so there's a good amount there. So probably be a dress of some description, I think. Yeah.
Lovely. And do you have a favorite fabric designer at all?
No, I don't really. No, I just go for fabric prints that I like. Doesn't matter who it's by, as long as it's good quality. That's all I care about.
Yeah. And do you find, like, if it's like a designer fabric, you kind of want it a bit more?
Yeah, I think. I think if I like on Instagram, when companies are sharing new stock, then I can get drawn into the colors and the design and that kind of thing, but it doesn't matter which designer it is from. I do like Lady McElroy fabrics, but that's because I just find that their availability is out there quite a lot in all the different fabric shops and stuff like that, and I just tend to have used them quite a lot more than any other designer, but they're not like a favorite, I would say. It's just
Plus, they have lots of floral prints, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, to be fair, I have used quite a few of theirs actually. Yeah.
Have you noticed recently that Lady McElroy and Sherwood's have had discounts galore? Like every other day, it's like, oh, there's another discount. There's another discount.
Yeah, I know. I think they're obviously in competition, aren't they?
Yeah. What's the last pattern you bought, Karen?
Oh, it was one that I bought yesterday actually. I've written this down somewhere, so bear with me. So it's from a company called Sew a Little Seam, and it's the Ollie bomber jacket. And I saw it was literally on Facebook, I think in the Sew a Little Seam Facebook group, somebody had made this bomber jacket, and I really liked it, and they cropped it, so it was like midway, and she'd got it on with the Nova jumpsuit. Can't remember who that's by now. Is that True Bias? Maybe? I'm not sure. Yeah. But it just looked so good together, and I was like, I really want that jacket.
And have you went and bought it as well, or?
The jumpsuit, I haven't got the jumpsuit, no. So, but I might purchase that actually, because I've seen Liz, the baker that sews, has made tons of those, and they do look really comfy actually. But I don't know again if it's my style, whether it would suit me and my body shape. We'll have to see.
Talking about Liz, actually, I did just interview her as well, and she was talking about a bomber jacket, and she just made one on her Instagram in sort of a rainbow quilted metallic.
It's gorgeous. Have you seen it?
Yeah, it wouldn't suit me, but it goes perfect. No. It suits her very well. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Karen, what's the most expensive piece of fabric you've bought, do you think?
I bought some boiled wool from Guthrie and Garney, and I bought it now probably about 3 years ago, coming up for 3 years ago, when I went to Sew Brum before lockdown happened, any of that, and I bought it specifically to make the Sew Over It Chloe coat. So I'm going to be making that this year, as we had discussed, and yeah, it was a lot of money. It's made in the UK, and I think it was local to Birmingham where it was made as well. So it was a real splurge on the day. I did feel a little bit sick handing my credit card over for that. But
that would be about what, £30 a metre or something? What would that
something be? Like that? Yeah, it was quite a lot. I think I bought 2.5, 3 meters of it. You know, so it's the biggest splurge that I've ever had on one piece of fabric. And because it's like boiled wool, I've been really scared to cut into it. So I am going to make a toile of the coat before I even consider cutting into that fabric, because it's too precious. But you know, that's why it's been sat there for 3 years, because I'm just too scared to do it. Yeah,
I know what you mean. So just to let our viewers know, Karen and I are doing a collaboration. We're going to be doing the Sew Over It Chloe coats. I think we've put that in for September, haven't we?
Yeah, I thought it'd be better to go after the summer. Give us some time, and I'll do a practice version, you know, prior to that, so we can because we've each got the actual online course, haven't we? So we could do that. Yeah.
Just to say, Karen, you've had the fabric for more than 3 years, and the pattern you've had for how long?
Probably about the same amount of time. Yeah.
Same,
because I knew that was what I wanted to make with that boiled wool, so I bought it specifically. And I think at the time, Sew Over It had like some kind of discount on their ebooks and things like that, so I bought the course. You know, I think it's like a video, isn't it, of how she makes it up. I don't know if it's step by step. I haven't actually watched the whole video yet, but
I believe it is step by step. But unfortunately, from one of the other vloggers I watched a couple of years ago, unfortunately the instructions in the booklet don't match up with the step by step.
Oh, right.
So that's a bit of a shame, but I mean, at least you've got points of reference, and hopefully when we do it.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah.
Lovely. Can I ask, what's your must-have sewing tool in your sewing room?
Okay, well, obviously, apart from the sewing machine, I just find my measuring tools are the things I use the most. So just like little rulers when I'm hemming, and I've recently got those Generate sort of seam things that you can add on, and I bought one when I was at the Stitch Festival. So I find that I'm using just measuring tools, really, all sorts of different measuring tools all the time.
Yeah, very, very handy, and actually necessary, not just handy but necessary.
Yeah.
What's the last vlog you watched?
It was Teresa Lost My Thread, and it was her So Frugal Makes vlog. So I'm still catching up on all those because there's so many.
Yeah, and is that the jumpsuit one? Does she talk about?
Yeah, she's got like a trio of jumpsuits. Yeah.
Oh, lovely. Really lovely. And can I ask, what's your least favorite sewing task?
Yeah, it's actually marking on fabric, you know, like the darts and the notches, any buttonholes, or just that. I just find that it doesn't matter what tool I use, they disappear. And so when I come to actually sew that bit, I'm like, oh, the mark's not there now, and I can't lay the pattern piece back on top of it because I've already, you know, put the seam in or something like that. I just find that really.
That's actually one of my pet hates as well. But also doing the bust darts, because I think they're so tiny. I just want to get on, and you know, everything else, it's like, you know, attach the bodice together, and that's easy. But then when it comes to bust darts, you have to make sure you've measured it out properly and lined it all properly. So that takes. That is really quite annoying for me. Karen, what kind of colours do you go for, sort of in things that you make?
Well, I had to look at what my colour palette was, and I wrote it down. And I am deep autumn on this one that I looked at. Nice. So my colour palette is more like teals, mustards, navy, bright pinks. So I can get away with wearing quite bright colours for my skin tone, especially during the summer months when I've got a bit of a tan. You know, I can wear quite a lot of bright colors, but sort of my dark base is a navy rather than a black or a brown, and things that don't really suit me are very, very light colors. I mean, I've got a white dress on today, and I don't think this is really good for my skin tone, unless I wear like a necklace with it or something like that. But yeah, I think because my dark hair, I need to have brighter clothes, really. I mean, I used to have highlighted hair, or even near enough blonde back in the day, so maybe my color palette might have been a bit different back then. I don't know.
Well, I did that colour palette thing that you do, and it told me to avoid mustards and burgundies and things, and I love those colours. Like,
it's not funny.
And so I kind of ignored it. I really love mustards and burgundies. I think they're the colours that suit me. So but there you
Yeah,
go.
yeah, same here.
And with regards to the garments that you make, what do you normally go for? Are you a dressy person, or do you like separates, trousers?
Mainly dresses. So I wear a lot of dresses. I don't really wear that many skirts or trousers really. Maybe tops with jeans and that kind of thing. I do have a couple of skirts that I've made, but they're not in high rotation, so it's mainly dresses. Yeah, I'd say probably 80% of my me-made wardrobe is definitely dresses. And even in the winter months, you know, I prefer to wear a dress over jeans. I just find it warmer to layer it up with like tights and boots and a cardigan. I find that warmer. Yeah.
I'm mainly dresses as well, but recently I have started to make separates, just like and I think when I first started sewing, I was always making sort of dressy outfits.
Yeah.
Over time, I thought actually I need more casual everyday things, and that's when all the sweatshirts and things came about. Yeah. It's funny how your sort of your aim for sewing changes.
Yeah. Whereas if I was to go back into work, I'd be like, oh, I don't have anything really smart enough for work, you know, because obviously my work wardrobe from before I left, I just wouldn't wear it now. My style's changed, you know. Yeah.
And do you have do you buy any clothes for yourself anymore, ready to wear clothes?
Not really, no. I mean, I don't actually remember the last time I went out and bought an outfit specifically for anything from a shop. I do sometimes go in the charity shop and have a look to see what they got and randomly pick up a few bits and things like that. So I do tend to mainly wear secondhand or me made, and anything really brand new is because somebody may have got me a voucher for Christmas, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah.
I mean, I don't really, I think the only thing I really buy is underwear.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
Into underwear making yet.
No, but it doesn't really, I don't know, I don't feel inspired to do underwear as yet. I think it would be quite difficult.
And it was beautiful, but it didn't fit. And I just
thought that's the thing, it's the fit, isn't it? Yeah. Fitting is an issue anyway when I have to do normal dressmaking because of my pear shape. I usually have to go over 2 sizes, you know. So doing bras and things, no, it doesn't really fill me with joy.
So Karen, what's on your cutting table at the moment? Do you have a project on the go?
Yeah, I've currently got the sagebrush top on the go by Friday Pattern Company, and I just bought some cotton poplin for that. So I've literally just got to put the sleeves in and hem it. And then I've also got a couple of pattern tests as well. So I can't obviously share those right now, but they'll be coming out in the future.
Lovely. And in your what have you learned recently? Any new sewing tips you've learned recently? Or
I have, but I haven't tried it yet. Okay. But I watched a video from Teresa from Lost My Thread. She did a tutorial on how to do a thread chain. So I would like to try, for the belt loops. Yeah. And the way she showed it was like a really easy way to do it. So I've sort of saved that video for future reference as to when I need to have a go at doing it, because I have actually got a dress that I made for the last frugal frocks, and I've got a belt that I wear with it.
The yellow dress that you were wearing the last, I can't remember.
Yes, it's a bit like tropical, that kind of one.
Yes.
Yeah, and that could do with having some thread chains put on, because I do wear a belt with it and I just have to take it off completely. So yeah.
And apart from sewing, and do you have any other hobbies or do you not have any time because sewing takes up all your free time?
Well, I run, but I don't run as frequently as I used to. So I need to get back into it. But I'm finding at the minute, now that the boys have got to a certain age where they're going out to clubs and things, my evenings are being taken up by being a taxi service for them. So I'm not running half as much as I used to. I am still part of a club, but I haven't been able to get back to them for a little while. And so my running has taken a back seat. But I also do quite a lot of other crafts like knitting, crochet, anything crafty. I really do like to do, you know. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. And can I ask, do you have any tips that for somebody that wants to start sewing?
I'd say just see if you've not got a sewing machine, see if you can borrow one off somebody and just have a little go and have a play on it. You know, you don't need to go out and think, right, I'm going to make a garment for myself, because I would never have done that. You know, I did that little romper suit, but I did have help with that. And then once I'd done that, I just sort of did little things like sewing a little zip purse, it doesn't even have to have a zip, you know, or pillowcases, really bog standard stuff with straight lines, and
definitely
just to get a feel of the sewing machine, you know. And then you just need to ask for help, don't you, really? I think there's loads of guidance obviously on YouTube, but I think there's nothing better than having somebody next to you to help you and show you how you get on.
That's true. And every garment that you make, you learn so much on there, and it boosts your confidence. And it's just, yeah, it's all about practice and learning more, isn't
Yeah.
it? And with regards to vlogging, Karen, any tips as well for somebody wanting to start vlogging?
I think, again, you just need to use what you've got. You know, don't go out and buy all the expensive equipment, and just give it a go. It doesn't have to be perfect, you know. And when you first start off, it takes a little while to get people viewing your videos. You know, you do have to get a few under your belt before people start to see. I suppose your videos will then be promoted to be shown, you know, and that kind of thing. So I think, yeah, just use your phone. You know, don't worry if the volume's not loud enough. You might be able to turn it up on the editing software, and just use a free one if you can. There's plenty to download, and also loads of YouTube tutorials for how to use these editing softwares as well. I think that's the scary part of it. Is it's fine to stick a camera in front of yourself and film yourself, but it's editing it and then uploading it and just getting a feel for the softwares, isn't it, really?
Definitely. And again, everyone is a learning experience. I mean, if I look back to my very first video, it's just like, oh, that was so bad.
Yeah, I cringe at mine as well, because my voice I sound really like fake, and like I'm not. I think it was just because I was so nervous about being I know I'm sat in my own room in front of my own camera, but it's foreign, isn't it, to do that? It's not normal.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So moving on to blogging, you do a blog for quite a few different companies, don't you? Do you mind sharing with us who you blog for?
Yeah, so I blog for Felicity Fabrics.
Lovely.
I blog for Bobbins and Buttons and Minerva as well. So those three, yeah.
And what sort of deals do you get with them? Is it sort of, you know, the usual fabric is free, and then you
yeah, it is mainly with Minerva. It's your fabric in return for anything that you've made, and then to post your pictures and the blog on their website, and there is a time scale of about 10 weeks, I think, that you get to make your garment up in. I mean, it doesn't have to be a garment, you know, it could be anything. So yeah, just as long as you share it. And then with Felicity Fabrics, it's the same, you know, to make anything you want from their fabric, but there's no time scale with that, which is really nice. So it's a lot more relaxed. And there's I'm with a really lovely group of people who are involved in that as well. And then for Bobbins and Buttons, I don't do it as regularly for Julia. I just do it as and when I can, and she gives me a budget for the year, kind of thing. So it's not always completely free. I might have to put my own money towards it sometimes if I've used up the budget and that kind of thing. But yeah, so that's kind of how it works.
Oh, that's nice. And do you like sewing for other people, or are you more of a selfish sewer?
I am more of a selfish sewer, purely because of fitting. I'm not a fan of fitting, and fitting myself is one thing, and then trying to fit somebody else is so much more difficult. And I've done stuff obviously for my boys and things, but that's easy because, you know, when they're young, you just do the age, don't you? You don't really have too many fit issues. But I am going to be making something for my mum this year, which we had fabric last year for her Mother's Day, and we're still talking about patterns, and she wants the dress that I've got on. Actually, it's the what is it? It's the, I can't think who it's by now. No, it's gone off the top of my head. I'll have to let you know so you can put it on the screen.
Megan Nielsen, Darling Ranges, is it?
Yes, it is. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Well done. Oh, always whenever I want to say something, it's gone. You know, so she would like this one, and I've got a lovely gingham fabric which I bought from Felicity Fabrics to make it for her. But she's just worried because she's quite busty. And she's the same shape as me, but a lot more hippie than I am. So she's just worried about whether it would suit her. But I said, well, I'll have to make a toile. So yeah, I've got to do a toile of the bodice. I said the skirt's not too bad because I've got to gather it in.
Yeah,
and then I have done things for friends as well where they've paid me to do it for them, but I just haven't enjoyed it because, one, I feel like I wasn't paid enough for the time spent making that garment, you know, and that kind of thing. And also when you're doing it for somebody else, I feel such pressure. You know?
I mean, I have had friends and family ask, you know, oh, can you make me something? Don't worry, I'll pay you. I'll pay you. And I don't even think it's money. It's because it does take a lot of time and effort. And I know they'll pay for the materials and everything else and for your time. But I personally think it's not worth it because you're making, and then when they wear it and if it doesn't fit, or if, you know, it's just a whole new, I don't know. It's
And my boys have just got a lot more picky now that they've got to this age. So, and sometimes I make them things and then they don't end up wearing it. And I think, well, that was a waste of fabric and my time.
Yeah. So, well, I don't mind making things for children, actually, to be fair. So maybe like under 10 is not too bad. Like you say, you just go for the age, don't you?
You do. And
it's not as if they're going to be wearing like a fitted pencil skirt or anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, talking about selfless makes, do you think you'll be joining our Selfless So April 22 challenge this year?
I will, yes, because Harry, bless him, has been asking for a t-shirt from me in some Peter Rabbit fabric. Now he's 8.5. Peter Rabbit is probably a little bit too young for him now. And I said, I don't think you'll be wearing this out, you know, but he's just really wants this t-shirt. And I've got this fabric that I was, I think I bought it from a friend who was getting rid of some fabric that she didn't want. And it's just a lovely cotton sort of jersey. So even if he wears it to bed, you know, so I said to him, I promise you I will make that this month. So I've got a pattern lined up for it and I just need to get it cut out. It's all washed, ready to go. Just been sat in my basket ready for him.
Ah, lucky Harry. And our last question, Karen, is why do you sew and what does it mean to you? So you can elaborate as much as you want.
Well, I think it's mainly because it's something for me. I mean, ever since having children, I have definitely found that my selfish time isn't available, obviously, as much as it was. So going out running and doing races on weekends, it's just not sort of a hobby that I can sustain as much as I'd like to. Whereas with sewing, you can dip in and out of it when you know, as and when you like. And I just find a real sense of satisfaction when I've made a garment for myself and people ask, oh, I love your dress, where did you get it from? And you can be like, well, I made it myself, you know. And it's just amazing to think that you've created this 3D garment from a piece of paper, basically. It's amazing. Yeah. And I think I just find that I'm good at it. You know, like, so when you find something that you really enjoy and you're good at it, that was it. It's just spirals, and I am addicted to it. It is a bit of an obsession, definitely.
That's quite refreshing that you said I'm good at it, and so I want to do it. Like,
yeah, I mean, I don't want to sound like a big head or anything, but
I think that is really refreshing.
When you find something that you really enjoy and you feel like you're good at something, because I find that it's not just sewing garments that I feel I'm good at. There's other aspects of sewing. You know, I'm not a great hand sewer, don't get me wrong, but like free motion machine embroidery, I really enjoy that, you know, and that's another type of craft with the sewing, you know, and stuff like that. And yeah, just being able to think, well, if I don't know, need to repair something, or I've got the ability to do it, you know, and I feel that, yeah, it's nice. And now I don't work, it's just something for me to do. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Karen, for your time. It was lovely talking to you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. To all my viewers, if you don't already follow Karen, please do so. So Little Time on Instagram and also on YouTube. I will link all the details below in the description, and I hope to see you again next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.